Hello everyone, welcome to our next episode of Access Granted. And today we have our special guest Aditya Modha. With over 15 years of experience in cybersecurity, he is leading a team in safe security. Right now, he is a VP of Threat Research. So, welcome Aditya Modha to Access Granted.
Hey, thank you, Niharika.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, can't complain.
Okay, so starting with your journey. So, how you started into cybersecurity, like back in more than 15 years, I guess you are into
Yeah,
cybersecurity. So, how you started your career, we want to know.
yeah. So my career started in 2009, right? So it's exactly now 16 years, right? So I started as a trainer in one of the company in Ahmedabad, right? So I did that for a year and a half, then moved on to NetSquare, right? That's the company where I started doing the consulting services, right? So I was like a pen tester there. Uh, Worked there for like 3.5 years. From there, I moved on to Lucidius, which is now Safe Security. I started consulting services completely there, the VAPT services. From there, I moved to UAE. Again, continued the pen testing journey. So I was still a consultant, right, doing VAPT for customers. So for the first 10 years, right, I used to be a consultant, like doing the pen testing for customers. From there, I switched these sides, right? So no longer into the offensive security. Then I went on the other side of the table, right? The defensive side. That's where I started my journey with Emirates NBD, right here in UAE, Dubai. Over there, I was a DevSecOps engineer, right? From there, now I'm working with Safe Security, right? Here, basically, I have like kind of a dual role. So I'm managing two teams, right? One team which looks after the production security, right? We will have like all the production workloads and everything, right? Application, so product security, production security, and the another team, right, which is the team that does the threat research, and they daily enhance the threat engine. So this is the team that closely works with the engineering. So I'm part of that team, and another team which is like managing the product and production security. We've recently started another team which will be focusing on the AI security. So it's like our AI labs that we have started here.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm lucky to be part of all the three teams.
Yeah, wearing various hats.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing. And as you mentioned, like you started as a penetration tester,
yes,
and then you moved from offensive to defensive side
yeah.
of security. So, what was the difference, like in your full career? What was the turning point? Like exactly, you felt like let's move to
Yeah.
another side, or how was the turning point for you?
Yeah. Well, the transition was like, I would say, smooth. Of course, I mean, the mindset was more like of, you have been doing the offensive security so far, right? Even before I started my first job, I used to do, like whatever, one can do in their own capacity, like, learning about new offensive security techniques and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, 10 years you are doing offensive security, and then suddenly you are on the other side. So yes, like in my mind I was like a bit hesitant at times, but I mean, on ground the journey was, or the transition was smooth. Of course, there were a lot of differences, right? Because I mean, you have also done the pen testing,
Yeah,
right? So you can
of
understand
course.
that, right? That in the pen testing side, you like test an application, identify vulnerabilities, write a report, do a report readout, you are done. But on the other side, uh, you do all of that, and then you also then run behind the engineering team to get it fixed,
Get it fixed.
right?
Yeah.
And then you also explain that to the the business team, that
Business.
why that needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there a lot of learnings were there, and now since it's been 6 years, I would say I'm much comfortable here as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah. I think now mostly you must be, discussing with the business, and business enablement comes first now,
yeah,
because previously I also faced the same thing. When you are only a pen tester, you have defined scope, like, you have to
yeah,
do only this and then get it fixed.
yeah,
That's it. Now with business, there are multiple things. We have to see what should be fixed, what can be fixed, and what can be eliminated, or what the risk can be, what is the mitigation point we can do. So yeah, that's the difference. Like when you are as a penetration tester, or when you move ahead in your journey, wearing this hat that you are wearing right now. So yeah, I can understand the differences. So what exactly you enjoy the most? You used to enjoy the pen testing part, or now you're enjoying this part of your career?
Yeah. I'll be honest, right? Like, I've enjoyed both the sides, right? Yes, they both have their own, pros and cons, right? On the offensive side, at times, you like, since you are doing either the gray box or the black box pen testing, right? You don't have the complete visibility of the source code and, all of that. So it sometimes, test your limit, because you are trying a payload, it works, it doesn't work, then you've basically, if it doesn't work, then you come up with another variant of the payload, you basically hit a roadblock at times. Right? Whereas on the other side, right, on the defensive side, you have the source code, the architecture and everything, but at times there are situations where business needs something in a specific way, right? You don't have the right tools, to mitigate those issues, but still you have to come up with a workaround, which is something that is acceptable to the business as well as to the security team, right? So yeah, I mean, it both the sides, you learn new things, and then at the same time, it basically challenges you as well.
Yeah, of course, of course. So so in to your like throughout your journey, so there was any part, like you thought any project or any finding, or and maybe any client you thought like this is the toughest one I have ever felt, like maybe finding a vulnerability or getting it fixed. So throughout your journey, there was any part like where you thought like this is the toughest part, I think, in my journey till now. So what was it, if it was something?
Every project, or like, be it the consulting project, or be it even the in-house initiatives that we were doing it in my previous company and the current company, I had the learnings in every of those initiatives in the project. But the one, if I were to pick, I was doing code review as well as the pen testing for one of the Fortune 10 company, right? And the counterpart, right, the team, which was again a security company based out of US. So we were interacting with them. So we used to find something, they used to vet our finding, right? So now right, where this is going, right? So if we say that this is an issue, it used to be scrutinized, right, until they get the satisfaction that yes, it is indeed an issue, right? So, and then since we were doing like multiple applications at that time, there was tremendous learning, right? At the same time, it was challenging, right? Because every time we used to have the discussion with the counterparts, right? Like, we had to be sure that yes, there is an issue, right, that needs to be fixed, and this is why it needs to be fixed. So yeah, I think that, and then it gave me a lot of learnings, right? So I think I'm talking about something which happened like 13 years before, or yeah. So but yeah, I mean, I had a lot of takeaways from there.
Yeah. Speaking of this, I remember one of the cases back in India when I was also working as a penetration tester. There was a client. So there was a SQL injection issue.
Okay.
On a public facing application. For us, we marked it as a critical. Okay, and the client was like, what is this SQL injection? Why you mark this critical? Because we can't give a sign off or a go live.
Yeah, exactly.
If it is a critical vulnerability, like high, medium, just forget about it. Critical is something like we can't just go ahead with it. So they were like, it was very hard to explain them why this is critical, what it can do. So I think this happens, and this is like SQL injection is something with that too on a public facing application. So it was like very funny for me to make them understand, like how this can be fixed, and then giving them recommendations. They were not ready to fix it. But yeah, that was also one time that I felt like, oh god, how to go ahead with these kind of clients. But it's okay, it's a learning.
Yeah.
Then you see how to tackle with a different kind of clients, because that time I was working in a consultancy. We have a defined scope, just test it and give some recommendations, that's it. But that was, I think, second or third time I was communicating with the client and explaining them exactly what it is, how to fix it, and things like that. So yeah, I think there are learnings in our journey, in our different. We are working as a maybe penetration tester, you are working as a architect, you're working as a VP. In all the roles there are different
Exactly.
learnings every day. And so you have done some of the certifications in offensive side,
Yeah.
I guess. So how it shaped you, like when you attempted these certifications, you've gone through it. So how it shaped your perspective of offensive side?
Yeah. So I did those certifications towards the the end of my offensive security career, right? So probably around 2018 or something. That's when I did OSCP and OSCE.
Yeah.
Of course, after that I moved on to the defensive side. But I mean, from those certifications, I did learn, right, to challenge myself, because those, I'm sure you are aware of that, right? OSCP, it's like 24 hours of exam. OSCE was 48 hours of exam.
Correct.
Right? So it was like, basically it will challenge you to the max, right? So yes, there were a lot of learnings for me, even though I was doing the offensive security for 8 years or 9 years. But if I were to say that the learnings from the OSCP, OSCE, I would say, though it was more focusing towards the exploitation and reverse engineering and all, and my career was mostly around like application security, network security and all. So OSCP was the one which I was able to utilize the most, right, in my day-to-day, the work. OSCE was more like testing myself, that can I do that? Is it 48? I mean, that's a 48 hours exam.
Plus the reporting.
And the reporting, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, OSCP was something that I was able to utilize in the VAPT projects as well. And, even now, the learnings from there, we can use it for our network security related, the in-house thing that we keep discussing within the team and all. So, yes.
So, Aditya, do you remember your very first project or very first hack that you did? Any good finding?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, right? We'll not talk about the hack, right? Because 2008, 2009, we never had things like Hack the Box and the other CTF labs, right? The internet was our lab.
Yes.
So we'll not talk about the hack, but yes, the project I do remember. So that was like in the first year of my career, where we had to test the university website. So there was no process, there was no methodology, there was no specific tool, right? We tried what was available to us, generated a report, right, and shared it with the customer. Now, if I look back, like if I was there as the customer, right, on the other side, I would have, been not happy, right, that way. But yes, that was my very first proper project, because remember, right, I used to be a trainer.
Yeah.
Right? So training was a different thing altogether. The projects were, like I said, there was no methodology, there was no, process, tooling. Like even the simple report didn't exist.
Yeah.
So we did try our best, right? Generated a report. Luckily, right, the customers, they also liked the report, because there were few findings, and at the time, right, like 2010 and all, the SQLi, XSS, those were very prevalent.
Yes.
Right. Unlike now. So yeah, I mean, there were findings that they were not aware of. They liked the report. We got the repeated business as well. But yeah, that's the first the proper project that I've done, and it will always stay with me.
Yeah. That's nice actually, because I also remember some of the projects you remember till your lifetime. I remember one of the issue. I think that was SQL injection only. It took 5 days for me to get it fully exploited and get the database name, table name, and all, because it was a time based SQL injection. I think back in 2015. I think that the story is back in 2015. Yeah. So it took me like 5 days to get it out, because time based, it takes time. After you have to give the payload, and then you have to wait for it. I was pretty sure, yeah, it is there, SQL injection, this is, I can exploit it easily. But it took time, like 5 days. Oh my god. But that is something I always remember. Like it took time, because for some of the clients we have to show them, like, we got it. It's not like you are getting an error or something, they will not agree. So you have to show them the evidence. So then I took time. I remember how many days it took for me to get it out, and then we gave them a report, and they were happy. Okay, fine, like now we can fix it. So yeah, there are cases like, some of the projects I do remember for me also. So Aditya, currently, as your role in safe security, what are your day-to-day activities? What do you do? Because as you mentioned in our previous calls, you are managing team in India, also in Europe.
Yeah.
So if you can just explain what exactly you're doing.
So like I was mentioning, right, I'm part of like two teams at the moment. One team which looks after the product and the production security. So as a part of that, my team, the role of my team is basically do the architecture review of the new feature that is getting developed, right? The team also does the code review of the VAPT, right, or the manual pen testing of the new feature. And then once it gets deployed to the production, right, so we use cloud, right? So once it gets deployed to production, the hardening of the the cloud services, right? So the CSPM part, cloud security posture management. So all of that is the responsibility of this team, and it's a SecOps team. So it's you can say that the life cycle of the new feature. So we follow the agile methodology, right? So every one sprint, which is 2 weeks, a new feature gets deployed to production. So as a part of that, right, from the feature inception, the idea, right, my team works closely with the architecture team, do the architecture review. Then once the architecture review is done, once the development starts, another team member, basically they pick up the code review, right? Like it's SAST, secrets, right, and SCA, all of that. And then the another team member, they pick up the manual VAPT of the new feature. It goes to production. Another member, they pick up the cloud services hardening. So that's how the entire life cycle basically takes taken care of by this team, the SecOps team. The another team, which is the threat research team, right? Now this team, it works closely with the engineering team. So we have a product, right, which is a risk quantification tool. Now the product has an engine, right? It has multiple engine, like the quantification engine, right? So there is another engine called threat engine, and this team basically their responsibility is to enhance the threat engine daily. Okay. So we monitor the threat events happening, which we get in our threat intel exchange platform. Right. So we monitor those events, we enrich those events, and then we update the engine. Right. So that's the threat event, the vulnerability research. So all of that is the role and responsibility of the second team. So you could imagine, right? Like I get to learn from both the teams.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Even though I'm leading it, but for me, like the team members, they are the source of the the knowledge for me, right? Like I learned something from all of them. So yeah, so I get to I'm lucky, I would say. I get to be part of both these teams.
Yeah. No, that's very insightful. Like you explained about both the teams you're working with. And so what about your time management? Because if you're managing team in India, also in another part of the countries, so how do you manage your time? I think you're working more than 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your time, like with your family, with work and everything?
So it's more like the weekdays are, for safe security, right? The weekends are, for the family, right? So since I have, like you said as well, right? I have team in India, and then I have team members in US as well, right? So usually the days are long, but then, I would still find out the time, for a small walk, or, read a book, or, just maybe play half an hour of video games, right? But and then, the weekends are, reserved for the family.
Okay. I was about to ask, in my next question, how do you, your getaway from work? Like you want to do something quick, like, okay, I'm bored or I'm tired or something. What's your refresher?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. It's not the computer, right? I can't, then open the computer and say that, okay, like I'll watch something, or, like find some refresher there. So, it's mostly reading books. And if not, right, then I'm playing video games, right?
Okay.
So that's for me like the refresher.
When you say books, are these cybersecurity books?
No, nothing related to IT or even IT security.
Okay, yeah, that's important actually, because if you say cybersecurity, okay, then you're in the same circle.
No. Then you are still in that zone, right? Like if you want to get out from that, then it has to be something else. Therefore, I said, I can't open the computer, because then I'll again be in that zone,
Yeah.
and not even the cybersecurity books. Yes.
Okay. And so next thing I wanted to know about cloud security. So what do you think is something which is very underestimated risk in cloud? Uh, what is that?
Yeah. Look, since I was mentioning, right, like my team also, they monitor the threat events happening across the globe, right? Majority of the breach that happens, where the data hosted on cloud got breached or disclosed, it's because of the misconfiguration issue, right?
Correct.
So a cloud, right, like it's a shared responsibility, the security of the cloud workload. So you made the S3 bucket publicly readable. Okay, the data which is there, it's done, right? So I would say it's the misconfiguration issues, right? People, they call it human error, but I would rather say that it's the the process error, right? Which is the biggest risk when it comes to the workload running on cloud.
So yeah, I think it is important to first things first, to just fix all the misconfigurations in the cloud. I think that is something can be done.
Yeah.
Okay, so Aditya, if you have to explain cybersecurity to a 10-year-old kid,
Yeah.
so how would you go ahead and explain to that child?
Yeah, so I would rather prefer a real life example. Of course, you can say a door and a lock, but that's an old one. A 10-year-old kid, they are using like iPad, computers, and all. So if you like come up with an example that they can relate to, right? I would rather prefer that approach. For example, my kid, he's 9-year-old, right? So at times when his the screen time, it runs out, right? Then he will try the parental controls, right? He will try to add some password to see if it works. So at times like the conversation happens, right? He will say that I tried some random passwords, it didn't work. I would say that what you did was a password brute force, right? Of course, we don't have to like make it super heavy, the conversation. The another recent example, right? He told me that you need to put the tap on your credit card and the CVV number, because he said that I gave him for a transaction. I was there, and then he noticed it because my wife used to keep that. So, and then my card was a new card. He said that you also need to put the tap, because my wife explained him why you need to hide the CVV number, right? So those kind of smaller examples. Again, I don't have much experience, right, doing a training or anything for the kids, but from the real life, right, the interaction, I would say that you basically come up with the examples, or the I would say the concept of the cybersecurity in their, the day-to-day life, right? That's how they will learn
Yeah,
quickly.
that's a really good example, to a kid to explain whatever day to day they are doing, like they are accessing the tab, so you can tell them about that. Or the CVV number thing was also good. Yeah. So do you have any plan of teaching, or your kid moving into cybersecurity or anything like that, or he has his own plans?
No, I would not enforce anything on him, but I would at least want him to know the basic hygiene of the cybersecurity, right? So at least, his laptop, his account doesn't get hacked, right? I don't know whether he will get into the cybersecurity, for the career, that I don't know. But yeah, like I would at least want him, to ensure that the passwords are not, the simple passwords that he keeps, right? He doesn't use his full name in the video games that he plays and all. So those kind of things, at least I want him to follow. Right?
Yeah. He should be aware about all
Exactly.
these things. If he's not following this path of cybersecurity, at least he should be aware about
Exactly.
all these things. Yeah, that's true. That's good. Okay, so moving on to our next round, it will be a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So not thinking too much, just whatever first comes to your mind, you can just answer that. Okay. So red team or blue team?
Red team.
Red team. Okay. Most underrated skill in cybersecurity?
Attention to detail. Debugging.
Attention to debugging.
And attention to detail, but debugging, right? The debugging skills.
Okay. So the dark web, hype or real deal?
Hype.
It's a hype. Okay. If you are not in cybersecurity, what you would be doing?
Teacher.
Oh, that's nice. So you have a plan again to be a teacher?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not into the IT security or in the IT, I don't know, God knows when, right? After that, I'm teaching for sure.
Okay, that's nice. Great. So for your late night hacking, so what's your pickup, coffee or energy drinks or something else?
Black tea.
Black tea. You like black tea? Okay. I like black coffee. And what's the one security tool you couldn't live without?
One tool. Okay, there are few, but if I were to pick one, I would say burp shoot.
Burp suite, yes. For web app ones,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
burp suite is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And so what's the very first thing you do when you find a critical bug?
The first thing that I do is I ensure that it's not false positives.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Because if we report or we document it, first we have to check.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we have to first check. It should not be a false positive. Yeah, I like this answer. So what do you prefer, work from home or office?
Office.
Office? Okay. So right now you're working from?
So, so I was working from home for 5.5 years, right? We recently started our office from 1st of September onwards, right? So I would say, like I'm liking it.
You're liking it.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
And then
that's
5.5 years is a long period,
long
right?
time.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, everyone have different priorities, because I have seen people, they like working from home. They most like, some people like only office, some people like hybrid like me.
Yeah.
I need both. So okay. So I think that was fun. I like all your answers, and this is a wrap for our rapid fire round.
Okay.
So moving on to our next question. So what's one non-technical skill that made you a leader?
I would say adaptability, right? And empathy. Probably those are the two non-technical skills. And I'm so because throughout my career, right, like in the consulting, right, like you go on site, you do various kind of projects, right? Every project is different. You need to adapt. Then I moved on to the defensive side. Again, you need to adapt, right? So I would say adaptability and empathy.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. So next thing I want to know. So next thing that I want to know is what's one industry trend that you think is very much overhyped?
Industry trend. So cybersecurity industry trend. I would say, I mean, it's not overhyped per se, but let's say, like the obsession, right, towards getting the, servers or systems free of vulnerabilities, right? I would say you don't really need to fix all the vulnerabilities, right? You know the business context, you see what data it holds, right? Whether it's your crown jewel or not, right? And then decide, which are the vulnerabilities that you must fix and which are the vulnerabilities that you can live with, right? uh, Targeting the zero vulnerabilities, I would say, it's a cat and a mouse game, right? Like you fix all the vulnerabilities in 2 or 3 days, you will again have like CVs, like there in one or the other
They're
library.
coming up, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that
so
happens. Yes. So we have to see, like, what data a server
yeah,
is holding. If we are storing public facing application data, like a static data, or
yeah,
it has some critical information, so we have to fix based on what data it is holding.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and the impact of that vulnerability, right?
Correct.
So yeah, so that's probably the one that I would say.
Yeah. No, that's nice. That's a good answer. So next thing I want to know, do you think we are too focused on tools and not on the mindset?
So by we, if you mean the pen testers and the researchers, I would say no. Like we are not focused on tools. It's the mindset, right? Because most people in offensive security and even in the defensive side, both, right? They are passionate about security, right? Tools is just a medium to achieve the end goal, right? But it's the mindset. I would say that's what. So yeah, I would say it's the mindset, not the tools
Okay,
that we are too
okay.
focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we wrap up, we have our last question for today. So where do you see DevSecOps heading over in the next upcoming 5 years?
Okay. I mean, in DevSecOps, we have made significant progresses, right? Like the tools exist, right? To have a very mature DevSecOps processes. Uh, what needs to be done is basically having the true shift left mindset, right? So today, you have your SaaS tool, SCA tools, the secret scanning tools embedded within your, the pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, right? CI pipeline and CD pipeline both, right? And then the DAS tool as well in the CD pipeline. But you still need a security researcher to be part of the engineering team to look at the issues that were identified by these tools, right? Uh, I think where we should be reaching is that developers, when they raise the PR, right, the tool should identify the vulnerability, which it does. Developers should get the notification about the vulnerability, which they do get, right, as a comment in the GitHub or Bitbucket or whatever the source code repository tool that they are using. They should be able to fix those vulnerabilities themselves, right, without the need of security researcher to be part of that team, right? So once we reach there, right, then we can say that yes, like we have reached truly shift left. Plus, I would say that's where, because now the tools and everything, it's there. It's all about like just like getting the shift left side of things to be sorted.
But it's like fixing also should be there as
Yeah,
part of the
yeah,
pipeline, so
yeah,
that we don't have that extra hand to get it checked and
yeah.
then fix it. Yeah.
Exactly, and then the researcher can focus on the issues that cannot be identified by this tool, right? Like for example, the business logic issues, right? They can focus on that. They can focus on some of the code path that this tool or the DAS tool couldn't identify, right? So they can then focus their energy on those kind of tasks rather than like having the discussion with the developer, right, on fixing a specific finding. If they can see the finding, since they already are the security conscious the devs, right, they should be able to fix it themselves, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's what I think probably we need to focus on, to have a proper, very mature DevSecOps processes.
Yes, it was very insightful. Thank you so much, Aditya. I just want you to give us any signing off note for us or for the viewers.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say keep hacking, right? And keep
Yes,
defending,
yeah,
right?
both are important.
Both are really important, right? So therefore, I wanted to select purple teaming when you asked me the first question, but yeah, so it's both of them are equally important. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aditya. It was very nice having you here on the show. And there were many things I also learned from you, whatever you have mentioned. And I hope our viewers also have learned a lot from you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. This was our episode of Access Granted, where we unlock cybersecurity one story at a time. If you have any comments and you want to know anything about cybersecurity from our upcoming guests, you can just write it to us and we'll come back to you. Thank you so much. Signing off.